Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo, and of course we're still on the matter. What's the matter? The FIFA Women's World Cup, 75% for Africa, 3 out of 4, and of course it gladdens the heart. That will form a major thrust of what we'll be looking at on the show tonight. We will also do our best to give you a slice of what is happening back home, but majorly we're going to be looking at, of course, the FIFA Women's World Cup. We'll try to have a robust conversation around all of that. It's a two-man show. I'm not alone. Austin Okon-Akpan is with me as we crisscross the world of sports and take this trip across the money-spinning world of sports. We'll be looking at everything that you need to know when it comes to the world of sports. And Austin is suited and ready as he joins me now. We take this trip together.
For the greetings to you, Yemi, and special shout out to everyone joining us on the show tonight. I was so pumped up for this, Yemi. I couldn't wait to come tell the beautiful story of what Africa is doing right there at the 2023 FIFA World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. Germany is out, but South Africa is still there. Nigeria is still there. Brazil is gone. Morocco, debutants at the World Cup, reached the round of 16. Look, Morocco is the first Arab nation to feature at the World Cup, and they made it to the round of 16. It gets even better. That's for football. In basketball, Nigeria's D Tigers made a fourth, 4 consecutive final at the women's Afrobasket. They will play the winner between Senegal and Mali. If they win this year's Afrobasket, Yemi, we should greet the women every day. Morning, afternoon, nights. What can we do without these beautiful women?
Life is not complete without them, definitely, and it's very obvious. And of course, still talking about football, a lot of people have been won over by this World Cup. A World Cup of upsets. We thought we were going to be seeing rugby score lines. We're not seeing them. Some nations beating 5-0, 6-0, but then you start, just like you reeled out, start seeing the top teams being bundled out, and it's interesting. You just have to hold your breath because you never know what could happen. And so if you're a betting person, it's difficult to predict anything at this World Cup. And by the way, that's why I think the Super Falcons do have a chance.
Now people will begin to understand, when I said these things, I mean, right from when we listened to the Philippine women talking about coming to the World Cup and doing the unthinkable, saying to themselves that they just want to relish the experience and get the world to know them and talk about them. Did we know them? Oh, yes, we did. Did we talk about them? Oh, yes, we did when they won for the first time at the World Cup. I said it on this show that with women's sports, anything can happen. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, follow tennis. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, go see what's happening with basketball and athletics. Because women, they've got a fantastic winning mentality. They manage better than you and I. So when they go out there, they all want to win. So when Morocco is finding out to play a game and they want the result, they might just get it. And when Germany thinks that because they are Germans, when they see South Korea, they will push them aside, that's not going to happen. Look at Colombia. Colombia defeated Germany, but couldn't beat Morocco. Welcome to this world where impossible is nothing, And I'm so super duper excited on the show tonight because they gave Africa 4 slots and 3 still standing.
3 still standing. All right, so a lot to talk about. Let's enter into that segment, of course, brought to you by Stanbic IBTC, the official insurance partner of the Super Falcons. And of course, we hope our colleague Cecilia Morogwe will join us at some point. And also, let's keep that under the wraps for now. We will be joined by somebody all the way from South Africa and will help us look at all the things happening. But first, let's take a look at what happened today, the results. Austin has talked about it. Morocco against all odds, were able to get to the round of 16, making it 3 out of 4 for Africa. Morocco defeated, of course, highly fancied Colombia, ended 1-0. And South Korea, benefiting from what Morocco had been able to do, also played a 1-1 draw with Germany. On the strength of that, former champions, the Germans, they are out of the competition. It was a disaster of immense proportions, according to their coach. That's what was said. And so those are the results all for you. Interesting days at the FIFA Women's World Cup. And of course, let's talk about Morocco. Was a great day for them. You're going to see the pictures right now. And they did the job. When they were saying they were ready, when they say they were going to fight against Colombia, a lot of people thought it was just talk. But it came good, got the victory that they needed, and now they're through to the next round. And Austin, when we were listening to the coach a day or two ago, saying we're going to fight, we're going to give the game our best, a lot of people thought, well, it was all talk. But when they got to the field, my oh my, they gave a good fight, and they're through to the next round.
The world is underrating this victory. The world is not really seeing the story that Morocco told by advancing. And when you see tears of joy from not just the players, but the entire technical crew of the Atlas Lionesses, then you would understand what this means to them as a country. First thing first, Morocco, they've invested so much into women's football. Yemi, this is a team that started the World Cup battered, shattered, well beaten by Germany. They will be going to the round of 16, and Germany will be packing to go home tomorrow. Beautiful story, because they picked themselves back up. They said to themselves that if we go down, we mustn't stay down. And what a story. Just look at these pictures. It got me emotional today when I was watching the game. I got soaked eyes, because they will live to always remember this, and it will empower the upcoming, talents, not just in Morocco, but in Africa, particularly the girl child.
All right, so that's interesting. Morocco through to the round of 16. All right, let's talk about, now we know it's 3 out of 4. Let's look at the journey of the African teams. It continues at the tournaments. Let's just quickly show you the round of 16 fixtures as it concerns African teams. Very interesting, and this is it. This is it. On Sunday, August 6th, the Netherlands will be up against South Africa. Monday, August 7th, Lionesses will be up against the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And, of course, France, that's on August 8th, will be up against Morocco. And funny enough, Austin, I don't know if you noticed, I didn't want to draw this parallel, but in women's football, we're playing against former colonial masters. All of those teams. Looking at it, it could be a good way to get a pound of flesh, but that's outside football. But just looking at that, that was what I noticed.
Yeah, but football has got a very funny way to, bring the world together. And that's why I keep saying that, look, with football, we can unite this world, make this world a better place, achieve social cohesion. And that's the story, actually, because right here in England, they're looking forward to that game against Nigeria, And Ashley Plumpton talked about it the other day. She says she knows most of the girls in the Lionesses team now because she started with them at the 8th grade. And I'm sure South Africa also, they are looking forward to theirs. I mean, you know what? Let's pause our conversation and go to Johannesburg, where Marvin Rumbe is standing by to talk to us. The Bafana, the Banyana Banyana. They told a beautiful story also. And Marvin will be joining us to break it all down. Marvin, good to have you on Sports Tonight. Wait, you need to unmute so I can hear you, please.
Thank you so much for having me there on the show. I've got to say, it's always exciting to be talking football, and in particular women's football. I mean, the first time I was on the show a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about their journey going to the World Cup. Now they're there. Wow. And I'll tell you what, they've just got the nation standing on their feet. Everybody on the street is speaking about Banyana Banyana because they've raised the South African flag high.
Beautiful.
South Africa is proud of what they've done so far at the World Cup. I mean, that victory against Argentina, that victory in their last game, nobody thought it was going to come. I mean, they were one down first in the first few minutes of the game. They came back 1-1. They went ahead 2-1. It came back to 2-2, and in the last minute, that brilliant play from South Africa got them that goal they needed. And I'll tell you what, it's really exciting down here in South Africa now. It's a great time to be a Banyana Banyana supporter.
I know. You see, let's do the contrast, Marvin. When you were here the last time, I was saying that we hope to hear good news because the girls were protesting that it was all about money. Now they are $60,000 richer for getting to the round of 16. And that's why we're saying stay focused, stay focused. Let me tell you how nervy it was for South Africa. They were supposed to win the first game against Sweden. They lost 2-1. They played a draw with Argentina. Kept hopes alive and needed to win against Italy, and they did just that. Already back home, what sort of support are they giving to the Banyana Banyana as they get ready for their round of 16 fixtures?
Well, look, the whole nation is behind Banyana Banyana as we speak right now. The focus. It so happens that South Africa's got many teams competing at the world stage. We've got the Springboks getting ready for the Rugby World Cup that's just around the corner. You've got Netball World Cup that's happening in Cape Town. So the focus is really divided among South Africans. But I'll tell you what, Banyana Banyana has stolen the hearts of many South Africans. On the streets, it's green and gold. I'll tell you what, it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be in South Africa right now because what they've done, coming from the previous the chaos, the financial chaos that was there, what they've managed to do now, going on and winning the group, getting into the round of 16 is a tremendous achievement for them. And we can only hope for the better against the colonial masters, as Yemi said it earlier on in the round of 16.
Awesome. Let me give it to Yemi in Lagos.
All right. Thanks, Marvin, for joining us. And just you read my mind. You're saying that South Africa have to hope for the best. I'm not trying to scare you. A lot of people feel that the best team so far in this tournament looks like, the most complete team looks like the Netherlands. And I know you're optimistic. The average South African is optimistic. But do you see Banyana Banyana going beyond the round of 16?
Well, look, they're the African champions, the WAFCON champions. They recently lifted that trophy. So getting into this one, they've got so much confidence in themselves. They know they can go on and get into the next round, which is the semifinals. And with the support they have right now coming from South Africa, I'll tell you what, anything is possible. The whole nation is behind them, and that alone should be a 12th man on the field for them.
All right. Let's just listen to how South African fans feel. I know they're very excited with, of course, the giant strides made by Banyana Banyana. Let's just quickly do that and come back for more.
It's the first time to be on the next round.
Did you watch the game?
Yes.
What did you make of the game?
I was at work, but I managed to see some of the match highlights. So I was very impressed with the way they played.
Were you expecting the win?
I know that it was a must-win, but I wasn't expecting that.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. Well done, girls, and may you go from strength to strength.
As a South African, truly proud because it's a great achievement for them to do this.
Are you entirely behind them?
Absolutely. One should be. As a South African, one should be behind any sports national team that makes it so far in a World Cup year.
As a South African, I feel proud, feel proud to know good see our country, especially the female team, was able to make it to round of 16. I'm very proud of them.
What message do you have for the ladies?
Yo, guys, please do the most. Do the most and make us proud and bring that trophy home.
All right, Marvin. A lot of optimistic South African fans, but I want you to speak as a neutral. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. But speak as a neutral. What do you think Banyana Banyana need to do against the Netherlands to secure a win? Is there anything that could be done?
Well, look, the one place that we've seen them lacking so far on the field has been on set pieces. If you look at where they've conceded most of their goals, they've come through set pieces. So they've got to work on their set pieces, and they've got to defend as a unit when under attack, because that's where they crumble. They crumble at set pieces. So set pieces are their major focus getting into this one, and if they can get that right, going forward, they've got enough in their arsenal to cause the Netherlands a problem.
Okay, so let me yield back to Austin. Probably has a few more questions.
No, I'll just do just one thing. I want to make Marvin a national hero in South Africa. So Marvin, let me give you such opportunity to make a prediction. South Africa versus the Netherlands. Give me a scoreline.
Well, look, it's going to be a nervy game, but South Africa will win this one 2-1.
How will I know that you're a South African? Thank you so much, Marvin, for your time on the show tonight. Always a delight to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Awesome. So that's it. Correspondent right there in Johannesburg. I'm Melvin Vumber. Talking about what's going on in South Africa, Yemi, and I love it so much because if you look at that Group G, it was actually a very tough group, and somehow South Africa made it out of it.
Yeah, surprisingly. I think I should be forgiven. When they lost that first game, I was saying that they're not assured, they're not really confident on the global stage, but the way they've played in the last two games showed. And I also feel Desiree Ellis deserves a bit of praise. I know we're going to listen to her in a bit. I think she deserves praise because she found a way to, turn things around, especially after the disappointment of giving up a 2-goal lead in the second game. They've done well so far. Whether or not they win against the Netherlands remains to be seen.
Shout out to South Africa for making Africa proud. We love everything that, even Zambia that didn't make it, they finished on a high, winning that important game to record their first win as debutants. Sports tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll go to Brisbane. Cecilia Omogbe is standing by to give us all the exclusives that we need to know. Are the Falcons ready for the Lionesses of England? Who know? Don't go anywhere. Stay.
It's a sign of the times. A reflection of conversations from the streets to the halls.
Interesting collection you have here. Thank you.
That get to the walls. If they could talk, see and hear the limitless creative.
So I think the moral of it is that when you make a vow, you must ensure that you fulfill it.
On Art House.
Lights, camera, action, and showtime.
This is a big win for my generation of Africans all over the world.
You don't need no other body.
I wanted to listen to me well.
The movies in the beginning was I was the lover man.
Some amazing talent in Nigeria who born, raised, they never left, they're there.
Shorty want $1 million.
Watch entertainment news on Channels Television at these times.
Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We have reached the round of 16 at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. And on Monday, it will be Nigeria's Super Falcons going against England's Lionesses. And that's a pretty difficult one. Just to let you know that this segment is sponsored by Stanbic IBTC, the official insurance partner of the Super Falcons, our colleague Cecilia Omogbe. She's been busy in Brisbane. She covered the training of the Super Falcons. Let's listen to her and then we'll come back. She'll join us live.
Back to business for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They begin training after they had 2 days off given by the technical crew. And during these 2 days, they visited the Mount Coot Forest in Brisbane. And also had the time to stretch their legs, just visiting places in Brisbane to enjoy the atmosphere.
Is it worse than last time? Yeah, we're doing worse.
Now they're back in training, ready to go ahead for the game against England, which will be played right here in Brisbane on Monday.
The girls have had quite a demanding last week, playing 2 games over the last 4 or 5 days, so it was vital they got 2 days rest. They've got over that now. They looked a bit tired after the Ireland game, so that's why we give them an extra day off. But now, coming back onto today, the girls are at it. We've increased the running again today, and their overall condition is very, very good. They're a fit bunch of girls anyway, so that helps. But we just have to maintain it now and do what we have to do over the next 3 or 4 days to keep that level of sharpness before the game on Monday.
They're extremely talented. I mean, with Lucy Bronze and Rachel Daly on the flanks, and you know, the way James is playing and creating all kinds of havoc up front. Russo, the whole group, they're all extremely talented players. So we've got to come up with a game plan to make sure we can change the way. We saw how China played. I think the one big difference in us and China is that they don't have our speed and our athleticism and our strength. They were organized, but I think the physicality was too much. England was too powerful and played around them. And so I hope that that will be the leveling piece of our team against them, that we have much more strength, power, and speed than China did. And so we'll put a game plan in place to try to utilize those strengths against England.
And the players are really looking forward to this because for them, England is one of the biggest teams in the world, having won the European Championships just last year.
Well, we saw what they did against China. We watched the game, and we kind of have an idea of how they play. And we're not going to make the same mistake the Chinese made. So we have a game plan we're working on, on how to, take them on and all of that. And hopefully it's going to work to our own favor. Hopefully we'll come out on top on Monday with the game plan we have.
Honestly, I'm just so excited to play them. I obviously know a lot of the players. I grew up playing with a lot of them as well, so I know them more than just teammates, but as friends as well. Obviously, it was like a different point in my life when I was playing for them, so it's almost, for me, it's nice, like 2 different parts of my life kind of coming together to be able to play this game. It's no, I'm really looking forward to it.
From the FC Lions Stadium right here in Brisbane, Cecilia Mogbe for China's Television News.
So that's it, Cecilia Mogbe on the field, catching up with the Super Falcons, seeing them chilling and, building some good confidence as they get ready for the Lionesses of England. Let's go to Brisbane. Cecilia is standing by. Cecilia, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
It's great to be here again. Good evening. Okay, morning here, right here.
We'll take it.
6:30 a.m. right here in Brisbane.
Wow. That's
it's a Friday morning. It's a Friday morning.
Thursday night in London and in Lagos, Nigeria. But it's all good. Good to have you on the show, Cecilia. I listened to Coach Randy Wardrum talking about some of the things that his team China didn't have, which affected them against England. He mentioned speed. He mentioned physicality. What else does these Super Falcons have that can be vital on Monday?
They've got resilience. I mean, when a team has resilience, and then when you have a team, they've got nothing to lose. Now, coming into this tournament, we've said it over and over again. No one even believed that the Super Falcons can even get out of that group stage. I mean, in group stage where you have a co-host nation, Australia, you had Olympic champions, Canada. And remember April last year, we played Canada twice. The first one was we lost 2-0, and the second was a draw. Then Republic of Ireland also making their debut. So, I mean, everyone that actually, pundits and analysts who checked the group, the only thing they said was that, Canada and Australia are going to go through. And we've seen the upset that have happened in women's football so far. I mean, this is a World Cup of upsets. It's just like what happened in Qatar, where big teams were actually crashing out. And it's happening right here in Australia and New Zealand. But for the Falcons, as I mentioned, resilience is there. Hard work is there, and fitness. I think the coming in of that performance and fitness coach that they have actually benefited the players a whole lot. And you see players that haven't played, like someone like Zara Kwanozi, for instance. I mean, injury happened just when she got into the team. So she's returned to training. I think that fitness level, the speed. If you remember, Republic of Ireland coach actually said that people are underrating the Super Falcons. They've got speed. I mean, they've got a team that played together. So those two things that stand out for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, that's what they will have going into the game against Three Lionesses. And the fact that they were able to rest for 2 days also give them that, that kind of peck, going into their game. England, immediately they finished the match against China, that ended 6-1. The next day they returned to training. They're also training today. They're not resting. But Falcons had that time to rest because of the way they played back-to-back. They played Australia on Thursday, and then the next thing they were playing again on Monday. So that time, they didn't have so much time in between to rest. So that's why they had to that 2 days rest. So I think for Falcons, they've got everything going for them. And also, you talk about the Niger spirit. We've seen what happened to the Tigers. I mean, a team put together in 1 week. They got everybody come and do trials. A new coach was brought in. And then in the finals, looking forward to having a 4-peat. So that Niger spirit that is always in these girls is something that is really working for them. And that togetherness, the teams that they're actually together, I mean, there's no beef or anything. So there's this celebration and everything that they have. That also is working for them. No selfishness. Everyone wants to play for each other. I mean, you saw Ogali scoring, a defender. I mean, that's something you really don't get easily in most teams.
Awesome. Let me give it to Yemi in Lagos.
All right, Cecilia, once again, it's good to see you. I have a question that's quite similar to what Austin just asked you. What's on the mind of the girls about their opponents? Because I know in football, when you're facing an opponent, there's something you think about when you remember the opponents. I'll give you a classic example. As a young boy watching Tunisia 94, I was praying that Nigeria should not face Ghana. That was how much I dreaded the Ghanaians at that point. So what's on the mind of the ladies as they are thinking about the Lionesses? Is it dread? Is it, oh, we can beat them? Or is it the good side is 50-50?
Yeah, ironically, do you know that they actually anticipated this right from when the group stage, when we know that, of course, you're going to be playing our teams from the deep. That anticipation was already there even before, England topped the group. So they're prepared for England. I mean, I think that confidence they had against Canada, and also they had against Australia, playing against the team and playing against the crowd, almost 50,000 people at the stadium, 49,000 plus. That confidence is actually what is working for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And not only that, some of the players I spoke with said, England, bring them on. They're European champions. Yes, we didn't win AFCON before last year, but we've been perennial champions and we've been able to play against the best. And if you check the FIFA Women's World Cup, somehow you would say most of the groups Super Falcons find themselves. You either have the USA, you either have Sweden, Norway. So they played against countries like that, Denmark and all of them. These are superpowers when it comes to women's football. They played against these teams. And if, fine, they couldn't win most of those in the past. But right now, being able to get results against some countries have actually boosted that confidence in them. And then for Ashley, you heard what she said about the European champions. And the coach, he mentioned that he knows most of the players. So he's not looking at England as if England is too big. So, and he's, of course, not underrating them. Yes, they are going into the game as underdogs. They admitted that they're going into this game as underdogs. But then they're going to prove what they can actually offer right on the field of play.
So, Cecilia, with what you've seen with the Super Falcons, how important is this game today? Because mentality is everything. We saw what Morocco did today. A team that is ranked 72nd in the world made it out of a group that had Germany that is ranked 2nd in the world. The philosophy of optimism. What's the mentality that these girls are taking into that game against England?
A perfect one. Because, I mean, Onome mentioned something that big names don't play football anymore. we've trashed about FIFA ranking, and sometimes you look at the rankings and you look at the teams and you ask yourself, when you have smaller teams beating big teams. I watched the game between Germany and South Korea. The stadium was like 38,000 people, almost 40,000. I mean, home teams not playing. But you had the South Koreans and you had the Germans, all of them coming out, to support their team. Like it was kind of 50-50. You have the Koreans, there were so many on the field of play at the stadium. Then you have the Germans also. The crowd was massive, starting the game. And almost everyone that was actually watching the game that were neutral were for Africans. I mean, the journalists behind me were rooting for African. There's a Fiji player who came just to say hello to me. She mentioned that she's a commentator. She's doing commentary for this World Cup. She mentioned that they just drove her from where she was commenting because she said she's rooting for Morocco. Since Nigeria's qualified and also South Africa, she's rooting for Morocco since she wants Morocco to win. And they drove her out of the commentary bus. The boss was so upset. So she now came to sit with me. So the point I'm trying to make is that you have so many people that believe in Africa, believe in the team and that. And so Super Falcons, they know that. They're more like the bride right now. Even Australians are saying they will be rooting for them. It's funny. And I met some Americans too who said the US are not playing so well in this team. So their team right now is the Super Falcons. So the Super Falcons, they've got many supporters now. So all they need to do to prove that, yes, the support everyone is giving them, they can go on the field of play and deliver. So that mentality they have, it's something that they know they are not under pressure, of course, to perform, but they understand the mission, the reason why they're here. They've never, I mean, the quarterfinals is staring them in face. They know that, yes, beat England, you're in the quarterfinals. And more money. I mean, I told you when I spoke with the players when they were in that Mount Kuta Forest, the summit. I mean, they were dancing and telling that, what are you playing for? I said, I'm playing for the money, I'm playing for my family, I'm playing for this. So it's quite funny when you listen to them and everything. Wrap it up with, you know what you're getting. So that alone is another motivation for the players. And the fact that most people didn't believe in them coming to this World Cup. So they want to prove everyone wrong and tell them that, look, we can actually deliver when we're pushed to the wall.
If you see Coach Randy Wardrum, tell him that I'm sorry, but if he misbehaves, you'll call him out. It's been a beautiful story for Africa. Out of 4 representatives, 3 still standing, Nigeria, South Africa, and Morocco. And Cecilia, it has been a World Cup of upsets. Talk to me about this achievement of African teams. Is it also a good source of motivation?
It is big. I mean, I was speaking with the goalkeeper or the German goalkeeper after the game. She was crying because she said they underrated, when they came into this game, they underrated the South Koreans. They beat Morocco. I mean, they beat Morocco 6-0. I mean, that gave them that confidence. Look, we beat Morocco, so we can beat anyone. And then what happened? Against Colombia, what happened? They lost 2-1. And then against South Korea, they couldn't even win. When Alexander Pope missed that 57th minute goal, not that she missed, it was ruled as offside. I mean, they were literally shaking because they were shocked by what happened. So it's a World Cup of upsets in the sense that these big players who came into the team felt they can just come and overrun everyone. If you check the World Cup history, Germany and USA are only the countries that have won it multiple times. US, of course, 4 times, and Germany twice. And since 2007, they haven't won it at that time. Check the German teams. 7 of them play for one club, which is Wolfsburg. So they have that confidence coming into the team, coming into the World Cup. They didn't see that there are teams who, they may not have a superstar, or they may just have 1 or 2. But when you play as a unit, that is what has been working for everyone. So for Morocco, I mean, I at first, after conceding 6 against Germany, I felt, what are they doing? But the coach had to set up differently. You understand that when you play high football, I mean, you get the goals are going to come in. And the Germans, of course, when you give them leeway, they score. The Koreans were just too fast, and then they locked up. That was actually what worked out for them. We had all the star players. I remember the Germans saying they would have won Euros if Alexander Pope was fit. And now she started the game, but hey, somehow the goals didn't come. And when Sydney Lovren actually missed 2 chances, 2 glaring chances that she missed in the dying minute of the game, I mean, it was over for her, and Sydney was literally crying when she was leaving the field of play. So you look at that, then you go to South Africa, who were like, okay, they can't even keep up. They go up, they concede, and then it was 2 draws, and then you're thinking, oh, they're going to go out. But somehow, they needed that victory, and they understand what it means for Africa to have 3 teams. And they're having, I don't think for the men or women's football, I don't think we've ever had 3 African teams actually making it into the round of 16 at the World Cup. So it's a historic moment for all of them, and everyone is looking forward to what the Africans can do in the round of 16. And hopefully, FIFA can look at this and give us more slots, in the next World Cup 20.
I totally agree. Cecilia, you know what we need to do? We need to keep the faith. We need to stay optimistic and hope for the best. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for your time on the show. We'll get back to you again.
All right, it's always a pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you so much. So that's it, our correspondent in Brisbane, Australia, Cecilia Omogbe. Yemi, let's get into the round of 16 now. All is set.
Yeah, all is set. And of course, we just probably again let our viewers know that this segment was brought to you by Stanbic IBTC, the official insurance partner of the Super Falcons. And of course, so we move on the show now, and just like Austin said, we look at the round of 16 all over again because a lot of the other teams are there. So without the African teams, this is what you have: Switzerland against Spain, Japan up against Norway, Sweden against the United States, Australia against Denmark, Colombia against Jamaica. These are the fixtures, the ones not involving African teams. And Austin, just like I said, it's been a World Cup of upsets.
No.
Nobody has the boldness to predict what is going to happen, and I'm not just going to do any of that. We're going to hopefully see what's going to happen and enjoy the football.
We will, definitely. I just love everything that has happened at this World Cup. We wanted drama. We wanted this sort of expectations, and we're getting just that. So we'll just stay hopeful for Africa, particularly Nigeria. All the best to the teams that made it to the round of 16. Let's get on with the show now. Touch briefly on the grassroots, because we started when they were starting the competition. So we must also end it now that they've ended it. That's the 5th edition of the Prosperity Cup. We know that the feeders of Yenagua won the competition, but this competition, we always say at the grassroots, when it's done, what's next? The Bayelsa State Governor, he has said, apart from engaging over 100 communities, football academies, and youth in the community, and partnering now with the NFF when they saw the work, said it is good. The Bayelsa State government, they've now said, look, what we see with the Prosperity Cup, we're going to build more infrastructures. And that's what we are talking about, just to make sure that it gets better at the grassroots where we keep producing talent. Let's listen to the Executive Governor of Bayelsa State.
This tournament has also served as a platform to showcase the immense potentials and talents that our youths and athletes in Bayelsa possess. Who says that Bayelsa youths do not have talents? That person has to come here and see what Bayelsa youths are. It is my firm belief that through continued investment and support, we can nurture this talent and produce world-class athletes and world-class footballers that will proudly represent not only Bayelsa, but the great nation of Nigeria. Following the success of the Prosperity Cup, under our guaranteed empowerment targeting youth, Get Youth program, we are going to build 10 grassroots talent identification and development centers across the local government areas of Bayelsa. They will serve as grounds to host future governors' football tournament games.
Not all about gathering the youth on political issues, just giving them money and rest of it. We must create a way of engaging our youth. You heard from the organizers of this tournament, about 5,000 young footballers were engaged in this tournament. Over 4,000 young people were engaged in various activities throughout this tournament. So when you calculate it, you see we have taken away a lot of social biases within the society within this period of 2 months. So this is what we need, and there's no way we will not support it.
That's what it is, the grassroots. That's where everything happens. You hear me? Competition is done. It's a wrap. But now they've seen the need that came out of the competition and they are addressing it. 10 new pitches. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'm impressed that the NFF also have taken notice and they're making comments. You know, sometimes you stumble into success. Let me put it that way. No disrespect to the Bayelsa State government, but this is a masterpiece. And some I'm very sure probably they didn't even think it was going to be this big, because you've achieved a lot by taking people out of the streets. Now you see that you can make a lot of progress, and also you don't need to be throwing money at people, just like the NFF president was trying to say. All right, our party shot on the show has to be basketball, and also you talked about it, and I'm very sure you're happy. It probably gladdens your heart that they've been able to get to the final, and that's it. And I'm with you. If they win this, then we should honor the women every day of our lives.
I know, Yemi, because we were talking about it. You know, it is the same MBBF with all of their leadership problems. We saw the men travel to play. Yemi, what was the result? You know how woeful they were at the competition. But see the women, short time to prepare. They did tryouts, employed a coach 1 week to the competition, and now they have made the final, fourth consecutive final at the Afro-Basket. And this woman, Coach Rene Wakama, what a fantastic show she's having at the Afro-Basket in Kigali. She's the only female coach, and she's showing the men how to win. If the D Tigers go on to beat either Mali or Senegal, they would have set history, and we all need to respect them. Today, they've punished the host country, Rwanda, 79-48. I mean, what else can we ask for? We are so proud of them. We celebrate them. They've done the 3-peats, and they're looking for the 4-peats. They're staying focused, and I think they can do it.
Yeah, I think they can. Nobody's going to bet against them. I think they will. And, of course, it's going to be a very good one if they do. All right, so, Austin, we've come to that point where we have to say our goodbyes, even though we could go on and on, but time usually not our friend.
I like the way we started the show and how we're ending it. Shout out to Amy Okonkwo. She scored 23 points to emerge as scorer against Rwanda today. The D Tigers all around had a fantastic game, and I hope they take that momentum to the final. That's the show in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
That's the show today. We do hope you enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. We appreciate the fact that you let us into your living rooms without us knocking. It's a privilege we will never take for granted. I'm Banyana Banyana. We'll see you tomorrow.